But okay. All right. All right. Let's get started. So, most of you guys know me, but I wanted to start with the mission here. So, our mission, Lauren, this includes you too, but specifically, we were after elevating ambitious women of color through financial, physical, and mental wellness. So, throughout this conversation, you ladies will notice that we're talking about how to get your money right, getting comfortable talking about money. Okay. You have to get comfortable talking about it. We also want you to consider your physical wellness and your mental wellness. Okay, this is not just about powering through and gritting through corporate. As a matter of fact, a lot of corporations use words like grit, like resilience, as code words for let us take advantage of you. Okay, that is not what we're talking about here. We want you to be whole and we want to change the face of corporate America if that's what you guys want to do, or help you pivot into something that you're doing for yourself so you no longer are a victim of all the things that corporate America throw at us, right? So this is whole body wellness and elevation in these buckets. Okay, so let's start off this conversation by talking about some of the challenges that we're currently facing. Okay, over the last decade, and I'm serious, like it's literally been a decade, I've been observing this behavioral patterns in the corporate space, and here are the facts. In all industries, women remain underrepresented in the C-suite. We are the most underrepresented group in leadership. And when I say leadership, I'm talking director and above, okay? Despite us being the most highly educated population. There are several articles, like literally don't take my word for it. Fact check everything I'm going to tell you. I promise you, you will find it to be true. But there are several articles, particularly in Forbes, that speak about the lack of clarity for minority women. We are often waiting for our work to speak for itself instead of clearly defining what it is we want, right? You hear things, especially for us immigrants, you hear things like, oh, I'm just going to put my head down. I'm going to wait for someone to tap me. Literally the worst advice ever. Okay. I worked with a woman. I had to share this story with you. I worked with someone who started at the company literally several years before me, but didn't advance. She got stagnant waiting on another challenge. Marisol, I remember you saying like you feel kind of stagnant, right? So like she got stagnant waiting for another challenge instead of picking a goal and working towards it. I remember her at some point in time, I think I got promoted to director, or it could have been senior director. And I remember her pinging me on Teams asking, she was so surprised. And she was like, how did you do this? I've been here for literally a decade more than you. And to her credit, usually you get some pettiness like, oh, what are you doing that's better than me? But to her credit, she was like, what are you doing that I am not, that got you to move through the ranks so quickly, right? And literally what I told her is I stopped waiting for people to tell me what I was qualified for and what the next step was for me. And I created the path for myself. And I said no to everything that did not align with that path. Ladies, Larome too, no is a powerful word, right? No helps you to honor your yeses. But first, we got to figure out what it is that you're saying yes to in the first place. Okay. So these days, what I'm finding is that back to this example of my friend here, I asked her, well, what do you want to do? And she was like, I just want to have an impact. I want to lead. I want to learn and grow. I was like, girl, no. So essentially, when you say those things, what your manager hears is give me more work, over mentor me and underpay me. Because notice nowhere in there did I say you're not paying me enough, or I want to be paid at this level, or I want to be a director, I want to be a VP, which obviously comes with a particular pay band. If you are not saying those things, what you are asking your organization to do is give you more money with less pay, and then you end up overworked, burnt out, all of those things. Okay. So the next one is a big one. Minority women also don't leverage our networks. Jacqueline and I struggle with this because we're introverts, right? Even though it doesn't feel like it. I promise you guys, after I get done talking to you, I'm going into a dark room and I'm drinking wine and it's a wrap for the day. Like I'm a heavy introvert, right? So when you're an introvert like this, you have to realize you have to be strategic about who you're targeting. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But the truth is, for our population, most minorities don't have the same organic support system that our majority peers enjoy, right? Because they have been, we already talked about it. Most of us are first generation, or we're doing something new that our parents didn't do. So we don't have that homegrown support system that can help us guide us along the ways, right? A lot of us are among the first in our families to graduate with an advanced degree, or first to work in a leadership position. And as a result, navigating the unspoken rules of corporate America can feel particularly daunting. And worse, the rules don't seem to be evenly applied. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So the inequities, they're going to be there, right? Notice them, work to erase them, but do not let them distract you from your goals. I think I said this to Larome earlier today. You do not need to be a statistic. Whatever the market is doing is not your business. They are not you. What the data says is not you. You can be successful in spite of what you see happening around you. Okay. Now, lastly, I cannot express more adamantly why waiting to be tapped is a bad idea. Think of it this way. If you would not let someone into your home to make a decision about your flooring, your wall colors, your closet organization, like, ladies, I'm just going to ask you to audibly for me, like, would you let someone come pick out curtains for you?
No, unless it was Cassandra.
Fair enough, right? None of us are doing that crap. But at work, we surrender our power to navigate our careers, which literally impacts our finances, the time we spend with our families willingly. We're like, hey, boss, tell me what to do next. Why the heck do we do that?
Right.
Right? Like, why do we do that? Anyways, so even in the best of cases, your manager cannot know what is best for you and your family. Only you know that. So, okay. All right, back to the challenges. So we already talked about that we're underrepresented in leadership. Only 1 in 4 C-suite executives is a woman, and only 1 in 20 is a woman of color. Laurent, Black men are not faring any better. It's about 1 in 45 is a Black man, right? So better than the woman, but still not great, right? And as it gets closer to that C-suite position, you see where we start to have that attrition with both the women and men of color. Right. Now, for women, we still have this broken rung situation, right? So for every 100 men promoted to manager, only 87 women are promoted and only 82 women of color are promoted. So the stats don't work in our favor. All it's saying to you is that you need a plan. It's not saying to you, don't go for these things. Okay. So I don't want you to take this information and say to yourself, oh my God, whatever I want is impossible. That is not true. All I'm telling you is the stats. Okay. And then the last piece is women leaders are leaving their companies at higher rates than before. Add me to the pile because I just left Nortech for very personal reasons. Nortech was misaligned to my core values that I will not compromise on. So I took off, right? A lot of women are doing that right now. Even though the market is cooling just a little bit, I think women in general are getting to the place where we're like, does this environment allow me to thrive? That is a conversation you should be asking yourself. And if the answer to that is no, then it is a clear indicator that it is time to pivot, and you can and will pivot successfully if you have a plan. Okay. All right. Marginalized women, it gets worse, right? So marginalized women. So if you're a woman of color, you have basically the data is telling us recognition and advocacy is an issue. Microaggressions are an issue. If you have a disability, oh God, that's worse, right? Now you're getting questions around your competency, around your judgment. And then the ever workplace bias situation is happening, right? So all of this is telling you, ladies, like whatever you're feeling out there, you're not crazy. You're not crazy. It's real. Like there's nonsense happening at every turn. So don't feel like it's just you. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling defeated, if you're like, what the heck do I do next? This is normal because all this stuff is happening in our environment. right? And then if you happen to be the only woman of your kind, right? So if you're the only woman on a team full of men, or if you're the only woman of color in an environment where there aren't any other people of color, or Laura, even for you, if you're the only man in the office, or you're the only man of color, or maybe you're the only veteran, what happens to you is you tend to feel those microaggressions that I was talking about almost twice as much as everybody else.
Mhm.
So you are not insane, okay?
Right.
Does this resonate with you guys? Are you having these experiences at work?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, data says this is happening, right? Don't get
Mhm.
discouraged by it. You can survive, not just survive, but you can thrive, but we got to focus, all right? So, um I will just say it that this is a trick question, but because I can't see you guys, just verbally answer me if you feel like your manager should be doing more to help you. Yes, that it is a trick question, and you're right. And I'm going to tell you why. As an HR leader, you guys know I like data. McKinsey is telling us, and this is as of 2022, I'm sure there's updated data to confirm that this is still in the case. But when they did a poll of these companies, and it was like hundreds of thousands of employees here, it said companies are expecting more from managers, but managers are not taking consistent action to support advancement, well being, and inclusion. Advancement, i.e., your money, well being, i.e., your mental health, and inclusion, i.e., you feeling like you belong. So if
Mhm.
statistically the managers are not helping you get promoted, helping with your mental health or physical well being, or helping you feel like you should belong, then what do? You better take it into your own hands. Otherwise, you will struggle. Your
Yeah.
manager cannot, they're on, you guys, your managers are on fire too. They want to get promoted, they don't know how, right? They're probably stressed and being attacked as well. Or worse, they're just a douche and they're only thinking about themselves and trying to figure out how to advance themselves, and they do not care, right? Your manager is not prepared to help you, so you cannot surrender your power to your manager. And for those of us, I think Marisol, you said that you have a great manager. Hallelujah, girl, you were one of the golden children, because that is rare, right? Most people that I talk to, it's like the manager is a dumpster fire, but it's our fault for putting our careers in their hands, right? So what do? How do we work around them? Now we've laid out the problem, everyone's aligned. Now what we do? Let me share a little personal journey with you guys. Enjoy all the like weird Olivia picture. I was kind of chubby and I kind of hate that picture. I might have to switch that one out. Anyways, so I started off my career as a Coast Guard officer. Okay. In 2012, I met my dear husband, Dan, and decided to get out of the Coast Guard. No plan. For the first time in my life, I literally had no plan. So I joined Lucas Group, which is kind of a military headhunter, and they put me in touch with a company called Stryker. Now, at Stryker, I started a Stryker in 2012 in an entry level job. You guys, like, I'm not even joking. I took a $50,000 pay cut. I went from leading a department of 35 engineers, being a subject matter expert, being at the top of my game, to entry level employee driving 50 miles one direction to work. Sometimes it would take me 3 hours in California traffic to get home. I would sit in my driveway and cry. And on top of that, took a $50,000 pay cut. Okay. If you recall, in 2012, we went through a recession. And that recession, this is the market, right, Larome, that we were talking about. In 2012, in that recession, the market made me believe that I should just be grateful to find a job. That was mistake number one. Then I took the job commuting 50 miles one way to work, making half of what I was making. I'm not joking. I was literally burning out, no end in sight. I figured, you know what? My work should speak for itself. I'm at the top of my game. I hit all my metrics. I'm just going to put my head down. Somebody's going to tap me, see my worth. I'll get promoted. Like, that was my initial game plan, right? Here's a shocker. There's a shocker, you guys. That shit did not happen. I did not get promoted, right? Here I am overperforming, delivering on all the metrics, but still was struggling to figure out why, when I had already been operating at this level, I could not get myself to inch up the corporate ladder at this. And it wasn't Stryker's fault, for the record. It was not Stryker's fault. Stryker is a great company. The fault was my own. Even though I had those, for all intents and purposes, people will come to me for coaching and they'll be like, but my performance reviews are so good. No one cares. No one cares, because everybody operating at those higher levels, you guys, everybody's performance reviews are good. So if your intent is to get yourself promotion, performing is just the ticket to the ball game. Yeah, you got to perform, but now what? Right? How are you directing your own life? Right? You have to really get clear on that. So let's talk about the strategy now. Oh my God, this thing is like freaking me out. All right. So things I did right. Ticket to the ball game. Excellent performance reviews. If your performance reviews are not good at this point, you guys, I cannot help you, because that affects your brand. That affects how people view you at work. So before you can even start your strategy, you need to make sure that you are performing. Okay. Other things that I got right, my metrics were on time, under budget. If you are not asking your manager today, what does success look like in my role so that you can crush it, you're doing this wrong. Okay. And then lastly, I was creating efficiencies resulting in saving the company money. If you cannot quantify your impact in terms of revenue, you're going to have a hard time. So think about these things, and we can go deeper in this at a later date, but these are the things that you should be thinking about as a foundation for your strategy. You need to be performing. Your performance reviews need to say that you're performing. You need to be hitting your metrics, and you need to be adding value to the company. Okay? Things I did wrong. Weird. Stats called it out. I wasn't leveraging my network. I wasn't building relationships. Remember, I said I was an introvert, so I was going in, I was doing my job, and I was getting the heck out of there. I wasn't doing the basketball after work. I wasn't meeting people for coffee. I wasn't going out to lunch and like bonding with people. I was literally not talking to anybody outside of doing project work. And the last one, big one, didn't clearly articulate what I wanted. People would be like, oh, Olivia, you're doing so great. What do you want? And I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I'm just ready for the next step. Like, what the heck does that mean? I was giving the people that wanted to help me work to do stuff. Okay. So all the wrong stuff left me feeling like this.
I just want to share this little story of like, there are steps and signs on like when it's impacting your mental health. Like first is like, I don't want to do this, right? And then you push yourself through because that's what we do. That's what we're told. And then like, there's going to be a next thing and then a next thing. And then ultimately your body's going to be like, error, like can't operate, right? And so like, I want to make sure that everyone understands that there are physical and mental damages that you're putting your body through. And you probably just don't know it because, you know, your body is showing you some things but you're like, we're resilient, right? Like we're built to be this way. So like our bodies will take very, very long to like give you the error signal, right? Give you the check engine light. This is what I call it, right? Like your check engine light is on, but you're thinking, oh, it's okay, I can go another 2,000 miles, right? Like that's what we do. So make sure that you're, you know, taking care of yourself.
The reason why I left Nortec is because I decided after my body literally crashed out on me that I was never going to put myself in a situation again where I was literally burning out every day and feeling so unappreciated, feeling so attacked, feeling so defeated, feeling so misaligned at work that my body would suffer the consequence. I'm not doing it again. I would rather live on ramen than sacrifice myself for an environment that does not care about me. So I want you guys to think about that, because your environments will take everything from you that you are willing to give. Please, please, please don't be JJ and I. Pivot if you need to pivot. Sort this out if you need to sort it out before your body crashes out on you, because At some point in time, there's no coming back from it, right? And we don't want you ladies to get to that point. All right. So let's start in how we can start tackling this. Now we've fully embraced what's going on here. So we want to talk about how to get clear on what you want. So first things first, we need to understand really what it is that you want. Like I said, most people come to me, and when I sit down to listen and I ask them, hey, what is it specifically that you want? I get this blank stare, right? You guys, first things first, you have to know what you want when you go have a conversation about anything in your career space. It has to be from a space of I know exactly what I want. If you don't know what you want, you are going to get pushed and pulled because everybody in corporate America has an agenda. Everyone has an agenda. It could be a good agenda, right? It could be someone that wants you to be on their team because they think you're amazing. And so they want to pull you over. But should you be? Should you be? I think Anastasia said it, right? I wake up and I can do these things, but I don't want to do them. So stop doing them. Say no, right? You need to know exactly what you want. So I think about it this way. When you go to a restaurant, right? You're going out to have a couple drinks. You don't just show up and say, surprise me, right? No, you don't. You know exactly what you want. You might modify things. You might want dressing on the side. Maybe you have a budget for this outing. You know exactly what it is that you want. So you have to approach your career in exactly the same way. You have to know what you want in painful detail. And here's the kicker. You also have to know why it is that you want it. Right? You have to, if you want to make $200,000 a year, why do you want to make $200,000 a year? What is that going towards? What greater purpose are you serving? Even though you're going to hear me and Jacqueline talk a ton about that financial number, because it is the foundation of everything, you guys. The finances are the foundation of everything, because if you don't have the money, you are going to continue to operate from a place of scarcity, which is going to keep you misaligned from your actual desires, because you're like, oh, I got to do this because I need this money, right? So we have to solve the money problem first, but the money cannot be the end goal. The end goal has to be your purpose in life, right? You got to get clear on what is that purpose. Who do you want to serve? What talents do you have? And how do you want to share those talents with the world? And then how much do you want to make as you're sharing all of your amazing talents with the world, right? I will tell you from an interview perspective, when I interview candidates, I ask them, why do you want this role? And if I get something that sounds like, well, this is just the next natural step for me, or I've currently mastered my current role and this just sounds like the next big step, or I want to have a bigger impact, I literally, in my brain, I have disconnected. I'm like, you don't know why you want to be here. So if you don't know why you want to be here, why should I take a chance on you? Right? And I will tell you, and JJ can probably pile on here since she's done a lot of recruiting, we can sniff if you're selling us a bill of goods. That's why we do video interviews. We can see it on your face. We can see it in your body language. If you don't know what you want, and if you aren't confident in your ability to do the thing that I need you to do in this job, I can smell it and I will pass on you. Okay. So getting clear on what you want helps you in so many different areas, including the recruiting and interviewing for that next step. Now, here's the other thing. Okay. Hiring managers want to know that you are motivated for the new role so that they can assess whether you will be happy and they will be happy. They want to know with some certainty that you're going to be in this role for a reasonable amount of time. Hiring, you guys, is an extremely labor intensive activity, and we do not want to repeat the activity if I can help it. Right? So one of my favorite leadership authors is Simon Sinek, even though I know some people don't love him, but whatever, I love him. Okay. So he says that working hard for something we don't care about is called stress. If you're working hard for something you love, that's passion. Right? You wake up and you're happy, you're jumping out of bed. You're like, how can I go do this thing that I love to do every day? This is exactly why you need to understand your why. Okay. All right. So let's transition into some activities. JJ is going to send you guys, JJ is going to send you a bunch of documents for homework. Lerome, you already have these documents, and I'm actually going to put you on the spot here to help the ladies understand what this activity did for you. But in order to know what you want, the book that I base all these questions on is called The Five. You can buy it off of Amazon, work your way through it. I recommend this literally to everybody I coach because I can't help you until you know what it is that you want, right? So I want you guys to start with these 5 questions on the screen. I'm going to leave this up. What time are we? So we're at minute 35 here. So I'm going to leave this up on the screen, and I want you ladies literally right now, let's have a dialogue about this. When you're having the best day at work, what are you doing? If you don't know the answer to this question, here is my challenge for you. Get a journal. I don't care if you don't journal. Like, I don't freaking care. Do it on your phone. Do it on your computer. Like, the mode in which you're recording this does not matter to me. But every time something amazing happens at work, or something lights your fire at work, or maybe it's not even at work, maybe it's at home and you just had a coaching session with someone and you flip and love it, right? That gave you energy. I want you to write it down. I want you to do this exercise for, let's say, 2 weeks. And then when we have our next sister circle in 2 weeks' time, I mean, we'll have more before then, but in 2 weeks' time, join the sister circle and tell me what you spot, like the patterns you spotted in your own behavior. What I'm asking you to do is research into your own nonsense. Most of us love to spot patterns in everybody else, but have a hard time spotting our own patterns, right? So do this exercise. If you can't answer this question today, I want you to write it down, put a note on your phone, send yourself a text, email, whatever, I don't care, so that you can go back after 2 weeks and be like, oh crap, here are the 3 things that repeatedly, if I'm doing these 3 things, I'm having like the best day ever. Or should we move to the second?
Well, we only got 10 minutes, so.
We only have 10 minutes already? Heck.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll move through this. So I will just let you guys look at the rest of the questions. But again, I have 2 worksheets for you to work through after this. And then in our next sister circle, please join and let's deep dive on what you guys discovered about yourself. Seriously, this only works. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. Answer the questions honestly. Sit down with a glass of wine or your beverage of choice, or I don't freaking know, light a candle. I don't know. Take time to work through this. And the second question, I'll just leave you with this tip before we move on. The second question, what do your friends and family say you're best at? This is the superpower exercise. Okay, you guys? If you don't know the answer to that question, here is the homework that I'm going to leave you with. So write this down. I want you to go make a list of all of the people that know you the best, including the ones that you do not like. The ones that you do not like might be the most important here because they will give you some honest feedback that you might not want to hear, but you need to hear, right? Go ask them, what do I do best? And here's the thing, you guys, you are not allowed to argue. You can't argue with them. All you can say is thank you for the feedback. And I want you to really listen in terms of what they say you do the best at. Because the point of this exercise is you want to lean into the things that you do with ease. So you don't end up like me and JJ and Anastasia saying yes to a bunch of shit that stresses you out every day. No, we want to craft a plan that lets you do the thing that you do best, and with ease. We want to do more of that and less of the gritty kick me in the face shit that burns us out every day. Okay, this is the trick here. What do you do with ease? How do you do more of that? F the grit, F the resiliency, lean into the ease. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so we're going to skip this. I know we could all use more money for the sake of time. Let me ask the group this question. Who here knows exactly how much money you need to live the way you want to live? Notice I didn't say the way to, just pay your bills and eke by, but live the way you want to live. How many people know what dollar amount that is? But the key here is the way you want to live. We want to shift our mindset, you guys, from scarcity. What do I just need to feed myself and not be a pauper? to this is how I want to live and this is what I'm after. Okay. Now, since we already know the answer to this, if you don't know how much, you probably haven't had a discussion with your manager about how you can hit these financial targets. So we're just going to leave that there. Let me just tell you guys this in the 5 minutes that we have left. You guys have got to get comfortable talking about money. Look at me. You have to get comfortable talking about money. Half of the reason why the gender pay gap is the way it is because it's our fault. It's our fault, ladies. You can be mad at me if you want. You can argue with me if you want, but you are not going to get something that you don't ask for. And most women, like literally when I hire women these days, I am itching for them to argue with me, to negotiate their salaries with me. And I will tell you maybe 10% of the women that I interview do that. You know what percentage of the men argue with me about money? 100% of the men. Now, I will tell you, the white men typically are better at it than the minority men, but they all will push me on salary. If you guys are not negotiating your salaries, you are messing up. And you guys, I don't care what the market is telling you. I don't care what your manager is telling you. I don't care what your spouse is telling you. I don't care what Fox News is telling you. I don't give a shit. You guys all you need to know is how much money you need to live the way you want to live. And then let's go hash a plan to make sure you get there. That is where we start. But if you don't even know what you need, we can't create a plan to get there. Okay. And here is the last thing that I'm going to say with the time that we have left, because I want to end on time. But you guys, if you have more time and you want to ask questions at the end here, let's do that. Okay. I have time. Here's what I will tell you. Psychologically, and JJ can back me up here, Dr. JJ here can back me up. Psychologically, your brain does not know the difference between a physical threat and a psychological one. So if you are afraid of talking about money, if you are hesitant to have those conversations, if you're worried about just paycheck to paycheck, your brain is going to be like, you have no money. I will never get you more money, because that is the mission that you just sent it on. Okay. You guys, I'm going to give you some woo-woo. Okay. You are not your brain. Your brain is your hardware. You are the software. You give your brain the mission and then it runs off and tries to do the thing that you want it to do. Most of us are operating in reverse. We let our brain tell us, oh, don't talk about money. That's scary. It's going to, whatever, cultural reasons, people are going to be upset. People are going to think you're arrogant, blah, blah, blah. You let your brain talk you out of what you should be doing, because your brain doesn't have any data to say, this is the way you have this conversation and it's going to work out well for you. Okay. Do not let your brain talk you out of doing what you should be doing. Now, from a neuroscience perspective, if you say to yourself, I need to make $200,000 a year, and you are certain of this, all you need to be is certain. Your brain is going to go, all right, mission accepted. How do I go make $200,000 a year? And it will literally work with you to find pathways. This is where the creativity comes in, because now it's not operating from a place of threat. It will literally work with you to figure out ways to get you to the dollar amount. All you need to know is what you want. JJ, I know you feel passionate here, so let me turn it over to you to talk.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is neuroscience, okay? And it's not magic. It's not voodoo. It's not just people being confident. It is literally neuroscience, okay? And the neuroscience says that if you tell your brain, this is what I want, this is what I'm good at, your brain will believe that, right? You are what you believe in, okay? So, in ancient times, they used to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? And all of that. It is because when you say that you're going to do something and your brain believes that you are going to do that, your brain will make it happen. It will literally go on these paths and figure out how to make it happen. Okay. So it's literally like, this is how our brains work. Like, why do you think all the, top athletes have these mind coaches and, psychology, whoever's, right? And it's actually recent. They did not know this about the brain, 5-10 years ago. It is a recent thing that all of these top athletes now have these success coaches. Your brain does not know the difference between visualization and real life. If you visualize it, it thinks that it actually happened in real life. Okay, this is why so many of the top athletes use visualization before a game, right? Or before whatever it is that they're playing. Like, this is exactly why they do it. It's brain science. Trust me, if it doesn't work, athletes and athletic teams would not pay all of these mind gurus, I don't know, like psychotherapists to do this. Okay? So, the way that you, and this is like manifesting, right? This is like kind of the term right now. The way that you manifest and get your brain to believe in something, it doesn't happen overnight. It's not like, oh, I set this goal that I'm going to be a millionaire, and then you never talk about it. Like, your brain's not going to believe that, right? So you have to do it every day, multiple times a day. And I even saw this podcast on like a neuroscientist, and he talked about how the best way to do it is to have every sense, every one of your senses go through what it is, to be. So for say it, right? Say it. I'm going to be a millionaire. Say that, right? And then the second one, write it down, right? So the saying it and the writing it down, and then read it, okay, through your eyes. And then touch it. I don't know, like maybe touch money. I don't know, like, right? So it's like something.
No, JJ, you're spot on. Remember, Jim Carrey said that he wrote himself a physical check with $1 million on it and put it in his wallet.
Yes.
And he would take it out and feel it and look at it.
Yep. And you have to do that regularly, like multiple times a day. And this might be a little bit of overkill. It depends on you as a person, because everyone's a little bit different. But the neuroscientist was like, at least twice a day. Once when you wake up, once before you go to bed, right? You should be doing all of these things, the saying it, the reading it, the touching it, the feeling it, the smelling it, the visualizing. You should be doing that every single day, right? And then your brain will start to believe it, and then it will start to create plans that will make it happen. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, you can do whatever it is that you believe in. You just have to truly believe in it. You have to train your brain to actually believe in it.
So on that note, we are 3 minutes over. I'm going to stop sharing real quick. Let me see if I can see you guys. So you guys are going to get 3 documents, okay? The first one is going to be a spreadsheet. This is your time to dream, you guys, okay? So I created this template specifically. It's got different tabs for the different areas of your life, because you are not, a singular focused human being. Maybe you have aging parents you need to take care of. What are their medical needs? How much do you need to make sure to put them in assisted living, or have a live-in nanny, or whatever you want? If you have kids, if you want them to go to the best schools, what does that cost, right? If you want a big house, if you've run out, like you want to live in Bel Air, I don't freaking know, and you want to get on Zillow and figure out how much the house costs, right? How much do you need? Marisol, if you want to travel 4 times, there's a section for travel. If you want 4 big trips a year, put the most expensive trips. If you want to go to Bali, which we just did, which is spectacular, put that shit on there, girl. How much is it going to cost you to go to Bali? Stay at the best hotels. And then I want you to add up that number, Lerone, add up the number and get your total number that you need to make per year. That becomes your number that Jacqueline is talking about. Write it on a sticky note, put it on your computer, put it on your mirror when you brush your teeth, you stare at it, right? That is your starting place for all things. Even the passion and value sheet, do that shit second. Do the money one first, because all things start with that basic foundational principle. How much money do I need to live the way I want to live? And then we will back into what you do after that. Marisol, for you specifically, when you're trying to figure out what's next, when you figure out the way you want to live and you know that dollar amount is going to help us inform our decision of what level in the organization do you need to be at in order to make that kind of money. So now you see your path starts to get a little bit clearer, because if you need to make $190,000 a year, being an associate, whatever, is not going to help you, right? So now now we know we need to be a director. We need to be a senior director, or heck, we need to start a side hustle on your passion. There are these travel blogs, girl, I have a friend named Monica, and I wish she was on right now so that I could cuss at her because she takes the most beautiful pictures. She loves to travel herself. She goes to all these exotic places. I am lazy. I like to travel. I do not like to plan that shit. I will literally pay you $100 for your itinerary that took you zero thought to create because I don't want to make it up myself. I want to know that you went there, you had the food, the service was good, the hotel was good. I want somebody to vouch for this stuff. I will buy your itinerary for $100, right? So it could be something as simple as that, but starting off with your dollar amount helps us create the foundation for your plan. Okay.
If you don't currently have a tracker of your finances, I mean, everybody should have this regardless of what you're trying to do where in your life, right? Like if you earn money and you have expenses and you're trying to save for retirement, like you should have a tracker.
Totally 7 minutes over. We want to be respectful of time, but I am happy, and I know JJ's happy to stay and answer any questions you guys may have.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording since we're going to Q&A. But if you have any questions, feel free.